For some of you who know Oyemekun as a bus stop, well, now you know it's the name of a school.
Is there an Oyemekun bus stop?
Oh, yes. College Road in Lagos. Well, Oyemekun Grammar School is in Akure. Well, this one is in Akure. I don't know if there's any other one elsewhere. But it was founded on Tuesday, January 29.
So precise, on Tuesday.
January 29, 1953. By the way, we're going to bring that human calculator. He'll tell you the dates, the day of your birth. Yes, and that's 71 years ago. Well, it was by a group of Akure community leaders with the support of the Anglican Communion under the leadership of the Deji of Akure land, His Royal Highness Oba Afunbiowo Adeshida I. Guess what? That school started with just 30 students. What's funny? Don't mind her. She's had a little bit of, you know.
An entire school, just 30 students.
Started.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard.
That's what happens when you take some sugar. But, of course, the school is the first secondary school to be considered and approved for what has now become WAEC in Form 5 in 1957. Form 5, wow. That's against the normal Form 6, which was the official policy at the time. Well, I could go on and on about that because I have quite a script with me, but it's not just about the school, it's about the celebration of the 70th Founders Day of the school, and three gentlemen are with us this morning. The national president of the alumni of the school, I believe, Dr. Ni Jogun. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Chairman, Central Planning Committee, Mr. Olatunde Adeji-Igbe, SAN. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And one of my colleagues, you know, he's entitled to give me a query if I called him with a title.
I'll give you a knock on the head.
Or give me a knock on the head.
Absolutely.
A distinguished alumnus, Ron Mbatogo. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having
You must miss the
Otherwise known as Ronnie Boy.
You must miss the microphone.
I do. My first love.
Your first love, huh?
Absolutely.
But back then you didn't have a lapel to use.
No.
Unidirectional.
Don't bother about those days.
But we're still going to those days somehow because Oyemekun Grammar School, Akure, you know, 70 years old. Let me ask you, first of all, since they call you distinguished alumnus of the school, any memories for those who are aspiring? Or those who are
Memories are plenty. You know, Oyemekun was a young school when I joined in 1959.
Was just 2 years old then? Oh, just 6 years old.
Yes, 6 years old then. And beautiful, small, quiet, ancient town of Akure. Beautiful, small, ancient, revered, loved, cherished. Then I came into Oyemekun in 1959. And as you said in your intro, 5 years upon inauguration of the school, they sat for the West African School Certificate examinations and scored very highly. So that's why when we say up school, they would say
the
only school. Because then only very few schools could do the school certificate examinations after 5 years. Others spent 6 years. So the teaching staff was very excellent when I joined. And so I want to talk about three people who are very brilliant, good teachers. One was Reverend W.R.B. Kuye, M.A. Dublin, 1919. He taught me Latin. I didn't do so well in Latin, but that's what. So,
Expectedly.
Because my native language is Igbo. So Latin was very far from my... However, you know, that's why the motto of the school is Pro Deo et patria, for God
And our fatherland.
and country. I wish that is internalized properly by those who lead us. But that's another matter. That's W.R.B. Queer, M.A. Dublin, 1919. The other person is Reverend Richard Childerstone, a Scotsman. He got me interested in the English language. The third person was the guy that my papa chose to be my guardian, Mr. C.J.C. Obwe, even though then we all called him Obue, but his real name is C.J.C. Obwe. He taught history, and he hoisted his trousers up to his waist by putting his left hand permanently in his pocket so as to hold the trouser up. But he was a brilliant history teacher. So I remember those three especially. And one other memory that stands very clearly in my mind was when a man who eventually became Dr. Kayode Jegede, who became the head of the Nigerian Law School here in Lagos, who was also one of the pioneer students of Oyemekun, when he was now leaving school to go to the university. And we lined up on the Appian Way to see him out of school, having been from Form 1 to Form 5, head boy, and taught for a while, and I was leaving school to go to university. So we sang for him, God be with you till we meet again. Oyemekun was a beautiful place, absolutely first class.
Okay. We could make a movie out of that, but you're going to have to pay. So let me come to you, Dr. Ejogun. Well, you're going to have to tell us your own memories as well. Maybe not as old as his.
Of course.
Because I would have loved to ask him how he felt when Nigeria became independent in 1 year after he joined school, but I'm not going to ask him that, or maybe some other time.
Okay.
What are your own memories? In 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Oyemekun has always been a school that is known for excellence. It's a school that stands out among equals. And like you've rightly mentioned, that is the only school. So it's a school that has produced a lot of distinguished personalities in different spheres of life. And we're actually very proud that we here are representing almost about 25,000 graduates of the school. And we have ambassadors, we have ministers, we have head of service in different states, we have commissioners, and even in other spheres of life, we have quite a lot. And going back to your question, when I was in school, I noticed the discipline in the school. Those are the core values that we have in the school. I remember some of our teachers, the principal that was principal then when I was there as Reverend Ogunlade. He was a very tough man, a disciplinarian to the core. And I remember when he shows up from his office, all of us will run scatter.
Naturally.
We disappear within seconds. So it's, and I'm one of them that actually disappeared one of those days, and I remember falling down in the process, and he came to lift me up. Oh, so it was a lot of panic on my mind that the principal lifted me up. Incidentally, I don't know what made him to spare me that day, so I didn't follow him to his office. So those are one of those things that I can remember in the school for.
Doctor, while you were talking, Sadeju Igbe was nodding away. Were you contemporaries?
He was my senior.
Okay.
He was my senior by 2
So
years.
you experienced this principal as well?
Yes, I know, of course. I was there when Reverend Ogunlade was there.
Okay.
And of course, it was an interesting time when, you know, the principals and teachers could hold their own. I remember telling somebody some days ago that Chief Ogunlade, as principal of Oyemekun Grammar School, drove a Mercedes-Benz. So you could not even afford to look down on him, you know. And of course, he came from Christ School to Oyemekun, and it was because of that top rating that had those first-class principals. So in those days, you would benchmark Oyemekun, Christ School, and of course, Aquinas College. You know, and for everyone, that was like the first, if you use it today, when they say the Ivy League, at that time, those are the schools you want to go to. And the competition was very stiff. And just like the national president has said, this is the school that has produced a lot of giants in various fields. Professor Collier Motoshaw. Including yourself? Including myself.
Senior advocate of Nigeria?
Alumni, you know, and a host of judges, those who have served as ministers, architects, you know, a number of them.
Now, we know you are marketing the school and it's normal, but what experience do you have? I mean, looking back.
The experience I had, now I schooled in Lagos in primary school. And so for me, being taken out of Lagos to go to school in Ondo State, because my parents come from Akure, was a new experience. And so I was also one of the youngest in my set. But one thing is that because I've had uncles who also went to the school, and of course had a lot of things they said about the school, it put my mind at rest. And now the experience of having to do what we call manual labor, being given a portion, and then of course coming from a place where a part of the thing for my boarding school was and cutlass. Those are the things.
Please, what do you mean being given a portion? Portion of what?
You have to
have a place you have to cut. Yes. That is your own, that you maintain. A portion on the school field, but it's allocated to you.
There were no lawnmowers at that time. That's what
it's allocated to you. I went to school in Lagos. I don't know about all this.
It's allocated to you. Yes.
Yes.
Somebody will tell you your portion.
I have to clear.
So it's given there.
And it is measured with the leg.
Yeah, so you must maintain it.
How come you know about all this?
Because I went to boarding school.
You must make sure it's well manicured. It's well kept. So that was the experience.
Well, so, okay. It seems like I'm bringing up some memories here. But let's go to the Founders Day arrangement, Dr. Ijogo. So what's the plan this time around?
Thank you very much. The plan is to showcase the school, the values of the school. We plan to have a week-long activity. Okay. And let me just correct an impression here that Oyemekun was founded on a Tuesday. It's not. It's actually a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for the mix-up somewhere.
Apology, guys.
Okay, so it's Thursday, 29th, 1953. That's when the school was actually founded. So we have a lot of activities, and I will allow the CPC chairman, that is the Central Planning Committee chairman, to take us through the various activities.
Are any of those activities happening in Lagos, or it's all in Akure?
No, it's a homecoming, so it's all in Akure.
Everyone is coming to Akure?
Yeah. Including those people in diaspora.
I hope you have an airstrip that people are going to land.
There's an airport in diaspora and those permanently away from them.
Definitely there's an airport in Akure.
So okay. So what's the plan this time?
Now, one major thing we have embarked upon, because government over the years, due to paucity of funding, have not been able to maintain the structures in the school. So one of the things that...
Is it a government school? Sorry.
Yes, government school.
Oh.
Although started by the community, but of course, later government took over the schools. Right now, they're making plans to give the schools back.
Because to the Anglican Communion?
Well, now it's going to be more like a tripartite arrangement. The Alumni, the Anglican Communion, and the Akure community. So it's coming back under a canopy of those three groups. So one of the things we embark upon is to ensure an upgrade of infrastructure, because most of the classes are nothing to write home about. I mean, we all knew what it was like when we were in school, and we are trying as much as possible to bring it close to that. So the projects are ongoing. They're at advanced stage, but they surely will be ready for commissioning by the time we kick off the celebration.
And when is this?
It's starting on the 23rd.
Okay.
To the 29th.
January.
Now, you said, it's a week-long of activities.
Yes.
What are some of these activities?
Of course, we will start off with, there's a road show, because this is what we used to do. We go around the town, and then that will culminate in a visit to the DG of Akure, who incidentally is also an alumnus of the school. And so we have that. We have a procession in the evening, We're going to have a career talk for the students. We're having a lecture. Now, the lecture this time is talking about rebuilding the building walls, the broken walls of education, the role of the alumni. Because the alumni has now become the backbone for the school. There will be novelty match, and there will, of course, be a dinner and awards night, among other things. So we're having arts and science exhibition by the students, as well as cultural display. Inter-house sports will feature during the week. These are part of the things we have put together.
Is Mr. Mbatog going to play? I'm just asking. Are you going to be on the field?
My jersey isn't quite ready.
Oh, okay. Are you sharing the same thing with Cristiano Ronaldo? I'm just saying.
Pelé, number 10, right?
Number 10, the jersey isn't just ready. I hope it will be ready.
It's on the reserve anyway. So it's on the reserve. So
the coach has said.
Oh, the coach. I see. So, what are some of those things that you believe that people should be looking for to those who would come, and what would be your motivation?
Oh, he said, Mr. Adejigbe, SAM, said, it's a homecoming. Every activity will be in Akure. I haven't been in Akure. I was last in Akure in 19.
They're here 19. That's more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, certainly quite a long time ago. Towards the end of the 20th century was when I was there in Akure. So to be in Akure now will be really, really something. And so I believe that those who are coming, Alera was talking about those who are permanent people
who are permanently away.
They'll be enjoying a brand new kind of school, because by the time all of those infrastructure is upgraded, school will be beautiful to behold again. For those who knew it, when it was in its prime. And also we take in the atmosphere of Akure as a state capital. It was a sleepy town before, but it's now a big city.
Yeah.
And so hosting all of these people who are coming in, not only from Nigeria, will be something to behold. And that's really what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of old faces and then meeting new faces.
Well,
interesting.
I'm expecting that there's going to be some form of carnival, because walking around town, you can't just be walking around town. It's going to be a...
No, it is.
I mean, you can't just be walking without munching something.
No,
state capital.
There's a lot of merrymaking.
What kind of things are you going to be? Corn, cassava, things like that people are going to choose?
A lot of local delicacies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of them?
Okay.
Do you remember some of those delicacies that you had when you were in school?
Well, the one that I remember very well was the one we call Ipekere.
That one is that one is modern.
No, Ipekere is not.
No, at that time.
Yeah. Oh. You now call it plantain chips. We call it the real name. Ipekere. That's the name.
Ipekere.
Yes.
Yes, I know I'm a Yoruba man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, calm down.
Ipekere. Yes.
Oh, it's P?
It's a P.
Yes.
It's not a P.
It's not P.
It's a P.
Okay, so what kind of support are you calling for? Because I see that some of the ceremonies include, as he has mentioned, will also include cultural display, arts and science exhibition. I understand this. We'll talk about that football match and all of that. But what kind of support are you looking at? What kind of because those who are coming from outside Nigeria would definitely might be wary of a thing or two. So what kind of arrangements are there? What's the motivation for them to come back home?
Thank you. What I will tell you is that in terms of security, because from anybody coming, from the diaspora, the first thing on their mind is security, because of what the situation is in the country. So we've made the arrangement. We are in partnership with the Nigerian Police Force in Ondo State, and we got commitment of the State Commissioner of Police that we are going to have adequate police protection. And incidentally, some of our old students are also high up there in the Nigerian Police Force and also in the military in general. And also we have the Federal Road Safety Corps. We've got assurances from them. They told us we are going to have a smooth traffic situation within that time, particularly during the road show, that they are going to ensure that there is law and order and there's going to be free flow of traffic. And also we made them realize that Oyemekun is our pride, and we want the spectators along the lines of Oyemekun Street, Oyemekun Highway, and also the Akure roads in generally to be well controlled. So we have all those in place, and we are calling on the support of the government. We are almost getting an appointment with the state governor now, and we are sure, because of his interest in what we are doing and the education in general, that he's going to give us an audience, and we want, beyond an audience, we want him to also look into the infrastructural decay that we have in the school, that we, the old students, are trying to uplift. And we've done incredibly well, because during the program, we'll be launching nothing less than about 6 projects. And that is really commendable, that we can all put heads together to fund that kind of project. So it's really something that we look forward to as our pride.
Mr. Dejuigwe, 70 years, that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
So I imagine that there'll be a whole lot of you gathering for this celebration.
True.
I mean, is there enough infrastructure in Akure to cater for all of you, considering that most of you are now in high places?
More than enough. No, Akure has good hotels, and of course that is a state that has been there since '76. So there's quite a number. I mean, there are quite a number of hotels in town, and good places to visit. And like we said, it's homecoming, so there is even more place of interest that people can visit. Because for a whole week you don't want boredom, so you want a place to be, full of activity and keep everybody,
So what kind of places have you lined up to take the old students to when they come for that celebration?
Okay, now, because like you said, we are really mindful of security, but at the same time, there are places that are not too far to go to. You have the Donre Hills, which is not far from Akure, and people can still visit. And then you have some resorts on the outskirts of town that are lovely that you can visit. I don't know if you've heard about the Dome. There's a place called the Dome in Akure. It was done when Governor Mimiko was there. So it's a place at least you visit and you'll be happy that you are here.
Then there's the anniversary dinner.
Yes.
Before you go there,
yes,
I want to ask him about the cultural display. What kind of cultural display are we going to have? Is it a Gugu or a Yo or Igunu?
No,
I'm just...
yeah.
Eyo is Lagos, isn't it?
Well,
No,
you never can
is.
tell.
But the whole idea is to also allow students to bring to display their own skills and talents. Unfortunately, these days, for example, what you can find on the streets, everybody simply talking about Buga, but you don't seem to actually appreciate, the roots of our own heritage. And so we're saying beyond those ones, there are a number of things. You find people on drum and you see them really beat the local drums, and you are wondering that, these talents are there. So those are the things we want to bring back.
Well, Mr. Mbatogu, one of the things, the high points of any community is the language. And I'm not sure I can understand the Yoruba in Akure. So I'm just wondering, for those who haven't, like you, and as Alera said, have been away, what do you call, permanently
Away.
communicating with locals might be an issue.
You know, the beauty of language is that there's a common denominator. Even Alero herself, knows that the language she spoke in Lagos when she was in secondary school hasn't really changed much. Neither is the language that I knew in Akure changed.
Is it Akure or Akue?
Akure for the locals. But Akure for us who just came in. If I still say to them, Ekaro, I'm sure they respond.
Okay. So we shouldn't overthink it.
No, don't think overthink it.
Well, we can only wish you the best, this. If you need more information, I understand that there is a website, oyemekunalumni.org. That's your website.
Yes.
So if you need some more information about Oyemekun Grammar School's 70th Founders Day, you can go to oyemekunalumni.org. That website will give you some more details. For now, we have to thank you very much for being here. National President of the Alumni, Dr. Niyi Jogun. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Chairman of the Central.
We would also like to thank our sponsors and our partners, yes, for the wonderful job that they're doing.
Okay.
Towards the anniversary.
Okay.
It's been very commendable.
Thank you. The Chairman, Central Planning Committee, Mr. Olatunde Adejuigbe, SAN. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
As well as distinguished alumnus of the school, Mr. Ron Mbatogo.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us. Wonderful time
this morning. Okay, hope we've been able to elongate your life a little with the memory lane that you went to. We're back after now to talk about something that you should not do in the rest of the year 2023. Stay with us.